How great was that? Good evening, and hello from the Paley Center for Media in Los Angeles to all of you joining us on live stream around the world as we celebrate the PaleyFest Fall TV preview parties of MTV's new fall season, and we honor their terrific comedy series, Faking It, as it celebrates its season 2 premiere. You know, the audience here in our theater in Los Angeles just got treated to a sneak preview of that very premiere. Tell them how great it was. Absolutely. But we encourage you, all of you watching on live stream, to tune into the broadcast premiere on September 23rd at 10:30. Before we bring our panel out, I'd like to take a moment to thank our official card, Citi, for making these events possible. Thank you so much, Citi. And thank you to our official media partner, Entertainment Weekly, for joining us this evening as well. Now, I'm very lucky because I get to introduce a terrific moderator for tonight's program. She was here earlier in the week, kicked off our PaleyFest Fall TV preview parties with the CW. But tonight she's back for a second round with a great show and a great cast. It's my great pleasure to welcome a senior writer at Entertainment Weekly, ladies and gentlemen, Natalie Abrams.
Hi guys, welcome to the PaleyFest Fall TV previews. I'm Natalie Abrams, senior writer at Entertainment Weekly, and tonight, Faking It fans are in for a real treat. The executive producer and cast are about to come out and share some secrets on season 2, and also discuss why this show is so unique. But for those of you watching at home, the show actually focuses on a group of students at Hester High, where it's actually much cooler to be out and be an outsider, which is why Amy and Karma decide to be a fake lesbian couple in order to gain popularity. But when Amy admits her true feelings for Karma, she politely yet heartbreakingly rejects her, and so then Amy drunkenly sleeps with her boyfriend. So, you guys all want to know what is going to come up next? All right. Well, let's find out. Please welcome executive producer Carter Covington. Bailey DeYoung. Rita Volk. Katie Stevens. Greg Sulkin. And Michael J. Willett. All right, Carter, let's go back to the beginning for a second here. Where did the idea for Faking It come from?
MTV brought the idea to me. They'd been pitched a concept of faking it and two girls pretending to be lesbians in order to be popular, and they were looking for a writer to develop it. And I'd worked with Mina Lefebvre, who is head of scripted programming at MTV, and she called and said, I got this idea, what do you think? And I said, I think it could be a little offensive. But I think if one of the girls had true feelings for her best friend, and it was a story about discovering your sexual identity, that it could be really interesting. And they got excited, and I came up with the world and pitched them the characters, and it all moved very quickly.
How much of this was based on sort of your childhood and growing up?
None of it.
Well, yes, you weren't a lesbian, but...
I would say that, you know, there's a lot of wish fulfillment in this show for me, and I'm trying to sort of create the high school I wish I could have gone to. I definitely fell in love with my friends who didn't know that I had feelings for them because I was growing up in small town North Carolina with really no role models of how to be out in high school. So, Amy's journey last season very much resonated with how high school was for me.
Now, I was shocked, Rita and Katie, that you guys actually didn't know each other. You weren't friends before this. Can you talk a little bit about that audition process and how you basically did a crash course in becoming BFFs?
Do you want to tell this? Well, we'll half and half. I think we have it down now.
We have it down now. We've told it so many times.
We should say it. Well, actually, where do you want to start? I don't. Oh well, apparently we don't have it down. I don't.
Well, they're like different starting
There's so
places.
many levels.
Just start
Well,
the
okay,
story.
I'll start it. I'll start it and she'll
finish
finish
it.
it.
Okay, go.
So we both auditioned for Karma initially. And I remember I came and I actually, my first audition, I didn't meet her, but she was there. And I took the key to the bathroom because it was like one of those bathrooms that you had to take the key. I don't know why they do that. But so you had to take the key, and I took the key, and the bathroom door was shutting behind me, and I realized I left the key in there. And I was like, no! And so anyways, every girl in the audition room hated me because I locked the key in the bathroom. So then the next day, I met Rita at my audition, and we were like talking, getting to know each other, like having fun. She goes, I have to go to the bathroom, but oh my God, were you here yesterday when that girl locked the key in the bathroom? And I was like, that was me, but I should have let you kept going to see what you would have said.
I just thought it was funny. I wasn't really gonna, say anything.
But so then, like, we were the only two going out for Karma at that point, and at the test, we went in. I was sweating profusely.
This was Katie going.
In the audition room.
What are you doing?
And do you want to take it from here?
Now I take it. So we went in and Katie kept going in, and I thought, oh, okay, well they must really like her. And I went in like once, I think, and I was like, well, there goes that part. And then casting came out, and they said, do you mind reading for the other part? And I was shocked, but I was like, of course, I'm totally gonna, hopefully double my chances here to go in. And I didn't realize at the time that everything worked out so perfectly. And Carter told me the story later, but in the room they were all like, oh, okay, so what did you guys think? And Suzanne Daniels goes, well, obviously Rita's Amy. And it just worked out the way it was supposed to. And then she got Karma and I got Amy, and now we joke about how alike we are to our characters. I can't imagine it going any other way.
Yeah, and we immediately, when we found out, because I remember getting the call saying that I got Karma, and I was like, well, because I'm the nosy one, I was like, who got Amy? And they were like, this girl, Rita Volk, and I was like, yes! And then so immediately I got her number, and we just started talking, and we went to dinner, and I remember we were together when they announced that our pilot had gotten picked up or something, or they announced that we were in the cast, and we were in Studio City at
We're
Starbucks.
at a Starbucks.
And we start screaming
like
in
idiots
Starbucks.
down Ventura Boulevard, and
I was like, people
thought
think
we were
we're crazy, but
insane.
they don't know what's happening.
That was the beginning of Carmi.
And here we
Out
are.
of Starbucks. Yeah.
Now, obviously, the rest of you did not have a very similar audition. But is there any memories you have of going through and worrying whether you were going to get the part?
For me personally, I was at the time fortunate.
Is everyone just shocked she's British?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell your story.
Let's support him.
Tell your story, and then I will add on.
Okay. Well, at the time, I am from London, yes. At the time, I was fortunate enough to be offered a show that shot actually in London. And I remember I auditioned for Faking It, and I met Carter and loved him, and I spoke to the casting director, and I asked obviously about Carter. She said, I promise you, you're never going to work with a nicer showrunner. So I remember Carter and I had many different discussions.
I practically begged him. I did everything but beg.
And it was just one of those decisions that you kind of look back on, and I couldn't be happier. I mean, these people that I work with, honestly, are the nicest, most genuine people. Carter's genius. Like, his writing is so funny, which obviously you guys got to witness. And I couldn't be happier that I chose the right decision. And also, it shoots 5 minutes away from my house in Studio City, so it's very convenient.
Well, and they had already had auditions for the Liam character, and I actually did chemistry reads with a bunch of guys that weren't Greg. And so, again, I was nosy, and I remember texting and calling Carter, being like, so, what are the names of the guys that I just want to, IMDb them and pick which one's my favorite. And Carter was like, well, these are the 3 names, but you don't have to IMDb them because none of them got them. And we gave it to this other guy, and I was like, oh, who'd you give it to? And I remember he said Greg's name, and I was like, okay, well, tell me about him. And he goes, well, he's cute, he's British. I go, stop, I already have chemistry with him.
And we do have.
And we do.
Bailey, Michael, any stories from auditioning?
I have an interesting story. I went in for was this the callback? I think so.
No, it was the network test.
Oh, it was the network test. And I had been there or obviously reading for Shane. And there was a couple other options for Shane. And right before I went in, Carter decides to ask me, he's like, oh, do you ever get nervous? You don't seem like you get nervous. No, definitely not. That's not a part of my reality. And then right before I go in, I have this moment where I'm like shaking and...
Well, he had this really funny, it was the scene where Shane is at the party talking to Amy and saying, you're gay and it's okay. And he had done this funny thing where he had a cup that he was like taking sips out of. And I loved it all through the audition because it was, there's only one Michael, and I loved him from the beginning. And he got in the network test, and he's like,
Yeah.
it didn't look as cool. It didn't look as cool.
Yeah, it wasn't as smooth that time around, but it seemed to work in my favor, so here we are.
And for Bailey, Carter, you told me that you promised her she wasn't just going to be the angry girl who comes in for comic relief. Talk about how that all went down.
Well, Bailey auditioned via a selfie cell phone video.
It was really professional.
That she had clearly propped up on a chair, and it was, but you couldn't deny how great she was. So, and I don't know if it's not like you demanded. We just talked because I wanted to make sure there was another show that was interested in her, and I wanted her to know that even though Lauren in the pilot is just the girl who comes in and says mean things, that's not the plan for the character. And
Yeah.
we had a great
As
talk.
we saw tonight.
And we'll get to that in a moment. I think one of the big questions fans had coming out of season 1, obviously, was Amy and Liam sleeping together. Were you bombarded with? Everyone on the cast, were you bombarded with hate mail questions?
People were
What's
rioting.
happening?
People
They were rioting.
mad. I shut my phone off when the finale aired because I think I knew it was coming, and I was like, Carter, everyone hates us. And he was like, no, that's good. That means they like the show and they're invested. And I was like, oh. It took me a second, and now anytime something happens with our characters where I'm like, oh, people are gonna be mad, I realize that's good. They should be mad because that means that they're invested.
Yeah, it serves a greater end. I think it's gonna emphasize a lot of things and how close the relationship is between Karma and Amy, and also just it wouldn't be interesting if everything went the way that we wanted it to go. So it was a nice little fork in the road.
How do you think?
That's one way to put it.
How do you think their relationship is going to change this season in the wake of keeping secrets now?
Well, now Karma is gonna. In season 1, Amy is just trying to get Karma's attention. Karma's like, Liam this and Liam that, and now Karma feels really guilty. She obviously doesn't know what's going on, but she feels guilty about all of her attention being on Liam, and she wants to rebuild this relationship with Amy, who at the same time is just so guilt-ridden and again has to hide this terrible thing, this mistake that she made.
Yeah, and I was saying how last season my Twitter feed was all like, Karma, you suck. Karma, why are you doing that? Karma this, Karma that. And I'm like, if I could...
It's your turn to be liked.
It's my turn to be liked, and if I could get hashtag poor karma to trend anywhere... You're on it?
And they will
You're
do
on
it too.
Okay.
You will do it. Can I just say?
Just because I just said that, people will do it, and I love it. Y'all are awesome.
No, they're incredible. They will get something to trend. I don't know. It literally is an
we
army.
trended every single day for 2 weeks or something crazy like that.
It's like
you guys are amazing.
Yeah, it's great. Thank
Yes,
you.
we love the fans.
I don't imagine that this is going to be a secret they can keep very long. How do you think Karma would react to this news, Katie?
It's funny you ask, because Katie was asking me in the car, because we're up to the point where
She's so
the
nosy.
scripts come out. And I don't know if you can tell that Katie's
she's
the one
always
who's
like, "Did you hear
when do we
this?"
get the next script? When do we get the next script? What's going to happen in the next script?
Guys, I'm invested. No, I just, I don't know, because Carter is really great and the writers are really great that whenever when we started the first season, they sat us down and talked to us to get to know us as people, and he did the same thing this season. And they actually asked me, they were like, what would you do if your boyfriend ever slept with your best friend? And I was like, I'd be pissed. But like, I honestly don't know how I would have gotten over that. Like, it's nothing I think that you could prepare yourself for or like know how you react until it happens. So that's why I'm excited to see how they write it and how she finds out and how that switches things for her between her and Liam and her and Amy. So I'm excited. Carter?
Only he knows.
Well, the first season had this juicy subtext for Amy that she was in love with Karma. And this season, there's so much guilt that she shares with Liam and I wanted that. I wanted something that would give us kind of that same energy within the show. So we, and just as the sort of threesome episode blew it up and we played it out in the last 2 episodes, we're going to look at a similar sort of unfolding this season. So it's going to be really exciting. And let me tell you, Karma is not happy to get the news.
Really? Tell me more, Carter. No, don't. I don't want to ruin it for them, but you can tell me later.
Greg, how do you think that this changes Liam this season?
Well, I mean, it's awful. Basically, the one person he's trusted throughout his life, and throughout the second season, you're actually going to get to meet Liam's family, and you get to see that they're quite dysfunctional, and he doesn't trust his family, and Liam has extreme trust issues. So the fact that he's kind of put all his eggs in one basket with Karma, and then he's kind of screwed it up, literally. Which was by one drunk,
Literally.
one drunken mistake. It's awful, and obviously, I think for Liam's character, he's gonna kind of go through that discovery of who am I, why have I made these mistakes, and how am I going to get the love of my life kind of back. But obviously, he doesn't. He's going to battle whether should I tell her the truth and risk losing her forever, or should I just try and sweep it under the rug and hopefully she'll never find out. So that's kind of Liam's arc throughout season 2.
And Michael, Liam learned the truth about Karma and Amy from Shane. So how does that put him in hot water with his best friend this season?
There's definitely some tension between Shane and Liam this season. They start off the first couple episodes kind of getting their footing again and just trying to be best friends again because there's been so much chaos that has ensued, and actually I don't even know that they do fully get back to where they were. They're sort of it's a new phase.
Yeah, and there's a new character coming into the second season. His name is Theo, played by an actor called Keith Powers, who's fantastic, and he kind of gets in the middle of Shane and Liam. So that's a kind of interesting dynamic that's going to be completely shifted throughout the second season.
Yeah.
Is this the new love interest?
No, actually, Theo is just a new friend for us, and he relates to Liam in ways that maybe Shane does not, and I think that Shane feels very challenged by Theo. He's a threat, and he might be a little jealous, and so there's a lot to sort out.
Well,
But you have a juicy love interest. Spill the beans.
Yeah, there's some love. There's some romance.
Michael's a very happy man on set these days.
We'll talk about that later. But basically, yeah, there's some new romances in Shane's life, and a couple of shirtless scenes. So it'll be interesting.
Have you been working out a lot now that you have to be shirtless on screen?
Yes. It has not stopped. Lots of eating right.
So does that mean the Pablo, him staying celibate for Pablo doesn't last very long?
The way I like to put it is that there's always someone brighter and shinier around the corner for Shane, and so he can't stay celibate for very long, and so yeah, there's definitely some new things for Shane.
All right. Well, this is going to be a big spoiler to those watching on the streaming right now. Those here just watched the premiere where we find out actually why Lauren has been taking those pills. They are actually hormone pills, and she's taking them because she is intersex. Carter and Bailey, please weigh in on this. Talk about how this story came up and why you guys decided to go down this path with this character.
Well, we were talking in the writer's room very early on. We were arcing the first season. And I was saying, you know, I kind of told Bailey that this character is going to do more than just say mean things. So we need to figure out what those more things are. And because our show's called Faking It, and everyone is, you know, even though it's called Faking It, I like to say it's about how much better life is if you are your true, authentic self. And I wanted to give Bailey something she was struggling with that would humanize her and explain sort of the character traits we'd seen, but without losing her edges, because I like Lauren's edges. So anyway, we were just kind of brainstorming in the room. And this is how it came up. Someone said, well, what if she had a tiny penis? And we were all like, ha, ha, ha. And then we said, well, what does that mean? I don't know. You know, all of us were kind of like, what? We don't understand. And I started to say, well, what about intersex? And we all had the reaction of the characters in the show. We were like, oh, what does that mean? And so we educated ourselves, and we contacted an organization called Americans for Informed Choice, which is an amazing group that advocates for intersex individuals. And we learned about the umbrella that is intersex, and we started to we found a condition within that called androgen insensitivity syndrome that really spoke to who Lauren is, that she's very feminine and like has a lot of walls up, and really we saw that if she were born intersex, that this is a very logical explanation for why she's grown up the way she has, and it's something we'd never seen on TV. And as we started to talk to individuals born intersex, there were so many stories that we were just like, wow, this has never been on TV. It's exciting to be the show that gets to share this, because I think our show is unique in that it can do this. It can give people a window into someone who's very different from themselves, and hopefully let them connect with that experience. So.
And Bailey, when did you find out, and what was your response to this storyline?
Carter told me in the middle of the first season, and my first response was like, oh, that's exciting. What is that? Like, I need to know more. And then everybody at Interact was so generous. They sat down and explained their personal stories, and then slowly Lauren's story started to be created, because like he said, it is an umbrella. So what was Lauren's experience going to be? And I'm still really excited. I'm glad that the secret's finally coming out, because I've been like bursting at the seams to talk about it. But I'm excited, and I feel privileged to represent someone who's intersex, and I hope that it kind of takes some of the taboo away and answers any questions and destroys some myths and all that good stuff.
And I have to say, MTV, from the second I pitched it, was excited about the storyline. They've created on MTV Act an entire website with resources, because and that's why we had Lauren on the Interact website, which is a youth website for intersex youth, that we wanted to make sure that people who have not seen themselves reflected on TV know, because one of the things we learned is that so many people born intersex are told they'll never meet anyone else like themselves. Yeah. And it's that isolation that is really painful. So we're hoping that we can kind of break that a bit.
Yeah. And Bailey, how is it going to affect her with people knowing her secret? Does it make her a little bit more vulnerable? Maybe take the bite out of the bully a little bit?
Oh, never. No, I hope she. I hope she never loses her bite. It's her power. Yeah, you know, it's a really big secret that she's protected, and the fact that it's coming out is really terrifying. And the fact that Tommy broke up with her kind of affirms some of her biggest secrets some of her biggest insecurities, and. It's definitely going to forge some bonds with some of the other characters, because they do find out and they say that they'll keep her secret. But it's a long journey of her accepting and understanding herself.
Rita, do Amy and Lauren find some common ground now?
Absolutely, because I think that they both as their characters represent that gray shade in between. You know, there's obviously kind of a binary vision of what sexuality is, and it's either I'm a male who likes females or I'm a female who likes males, and neither of them fit that category, and they're kind of in that stigma, you know, area of it all, and through that they're going to bond. Definitely, they're going to realize that they have a lot more in common, hopefully, than they thought they did.
And Lauren's actually going to get a love interest this season. Can you tease a little bit about that?
Yeah, her love interest. Can I say who it is? It's actually Theo, the in between of the bromance over there. And you know,
4-way.
yeah.
Just kidding.
Season 3.
Tommy was, I mean, he was never anyone that did anything. He was a prop that looked great on her arm. And Theo actually
What happened over here?
and
forcing.
Theo doesn't take any of her crap. He challenges her, and she actually likes him and cares about him, which also means she has something to lose. And Tommy just dumped her because he sucks. So,
And Theo, is charming.
yes,
Just say it.
Theo is charming, and Lauren is hard to be charmed. So, hopefully it'll be fun to watch.
Oh, Katie, they're tapping into your American Idol background. We saw you sing in the first season and again in the season 2 premiere. Will we get to see a little bit more? Is it fun for you to get to bring out that side?
It is. I mean, singing is obviously a huge part of my life, and it's how I came to LA and started doing all of this. And honestly, if I didn't do American Idol, I probably would not be here. But it's one of those things that I would like to, you know, be respected for both as separate entities of parts of who I am. And, you know, I love that Carter was able to do that and write that in a way where it's not, you know, because you see a lot of shows where it's like, oh, let's have the girl who sings sing on this show, and it has nothing to do with the storyline. So it's cool that, you know, he set it up where in the first season, you know, Karma writes songs, and she does that. So it was incorporated into the character where it wasn't done in a taboo, gimmicky kind of way, which is why I liked it and why I was like, yeah, I'd love to. And it was fun because the song that you heard tonight, I actually wrote with Carter, which was really cool because I loved to write songs. It's
In like
another
15
huge part.
minutes, I was like, Katie, I blocked off 3 hours to like write a rough draft, and she's like, okay, how about we do this little bit? You know, I was like, whoa.
Well, it's like that's, you know, it's funny because I relate to Karma in that way because I remember being 15 and like I'd have a crush on a boy at school and I'd be like, I'm gonna write this song, and I'd go and I'd just like go to my basement and my mom would be like, Katie, dinner. I'd be like, I'm in a mode. And like, I just would just write songs all the time. And it's awesome because I relate to Karma in that. And that's her way of expressing her emotions and how she feels towards other people is writing these songs. And, you know, like you saw tonight, she, again, like last season, doesn't really think about her actions, but she's coming from a good place. And she doesn't realize that it's a very romantic gesture. So that's another thing Karma's going to struggle with is how do I do the things that I normally do and act the way I do towards my best friend, but now I have to take into consideration that she's in love with me. Yeah. So it's going to be that battle.
Carter, do you ever envision a future where Amy and geez, I was just about to call her Katie, and it's Karma.
we like, somebody will be like, Amy.
Katie. I respond to Katie. I respond to Rita.
I respond to Katie, Rita, Karma, and Amy.
Yeah.
All of them.
It's like
People on set, they're like, Katie, Rita, Katie, Amy. We're like, I got it.
Yeah.
I'm here.
You.
Do you envision a future where they could actually be in a relationship?
You know, my intention with the show was to show a friendship that occupies a space that is between just friends and a romantic partner, because I think that's what Karma and Amy are. They occupy an emotional space that most people would find from a romantic partner. So, you know, that's the charge of the show. I never want to lose that. So Can I envision it? Yes. Can I tell you that it's going to happen like next season or, no. But I think what people respond to about Karma and Amy is that they love each other so unconditionally. They care about each other. They put the other in front of themselves often. It's very much how you would want your partner to be. And I think that that's why their friendship is so, like, perfect.
Now, you've said that Amy is not straight, but you're not putting a label on her sexuality. Can you talk a little bit about what she'll be exploring this season?
Yeah, well, we're gonna explore. Karma's gonna find out that Amy, she's gonna have made the same assumption that I think a lot of viewers did, that because she was in love with Karma, that she's a lesbian, and Amy's gonna say, "I'm still figuring this out," just like she told her mother in the pilot. So we're gonna explore that a little bit, and then we're gonna give her a new relationship.
She will not compete with Karma, guys.
Easy
No,
there.
I'm just kidding.
Easy
She's
there.
great.
How will Karma feel, though, if another woman is coming between them?
Karma?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all know that it's Karma's nature to be a little
scrappy.
territorial. She is scrappy. But I think honestly, she wants Amy to be happy, and I think that you'll see a lot in future episodes that she wants Amy to be happy and she wants to help Amy move on, but struggles with how do I do that and do that in the right way. But I think that, as much as she wants Amy to move on, because that means if Amy moves on, she can move on. I think that it's, she doesn't want Amy to move on to where she's pushed out. So I think that's where, if she starts to feel that she's pushed out, is when she's going to get a little scrappy and territorial.
Yeah. And Greg, do you think Liam still really cares about Karma?
Yeah, I think she's the one person in his life that he's always cared about. And obviously, making a mistake doesn't help the situation. But I think that will be Liam's goal, is to kind of get the girl back that he admires so much. And how can you not fall in love with that little face, So.
You're so sweet. Can you say that again? Hey! I'm here,
I just talked about how much I love you. Calm down.
It happens all the time.
I'm stuck in the middle.
Not a bad place to be, though.
No. My job is not hard. Thank you, MTV.
You guys have some great guest stars coming on this season. Laverne Cox, Harmony. Oh my God. Can you talk a little bit about what was it like working with Laverne?
You're asking the gay guy? Laverne was great. I loved her. She was awesome. She was always singing and dancing, and she was just a pleasure to work with. And I hope we have her back.
Yeah.
Said she wanted to come back. I was like, all right.
Yeah, it was a big honor for us to have her come on the show. She just got nominated for an Emmy, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, it kind of it made everyone step up their game. Having someone of that caliber come on set. The crew acted a little bit differently.
I acted so.
We all pretended that we were really professional. It was great.
Yeah.
You tackled her pretty much in the makeup trailer,
I
right?
didn't tackle her. I got onto the makeup trailer, and normally when I hop onto the hair and makeup trailer, I say hi to everyone, and I immediately just beelined for Laverne Cox, and I was like, I love you so much. I watch Orange is the New Black, and I'm so excited. And she was like, oh, I'm so excited too. Hi, what's your name? And I was like, oh, I'm Katie. No, but we were all, again, I was super nosy. Doesn't change. But I went up before we found out that it was Laverne. I went up to Carter and I was like, so who is our drama teacher? And he was not telling me. And I had already heard from, I don't even remember who, that it was someone from Orange is the New Black. So I was going through the IMDb list of Orange is the New Black, and I was like, is it this one? Is it this one? And he was like, Katie, I'm not telling you. Go away.
We've established that IMDb is Katie's best friend.
Or that I'm just really nosy. Either one. Right. But she was lovely and fabulous, and it was such an honor and a pleasure to work with her.
Carter, can you tell us about her character as well as who Fifth Harmony are playing?
Sure. Laverne Cox plays Margot, who is the head of Hester's Elite Drama Club. And they have an opening because one of the drama club members booked a national Blem Clear commercial and moves to LA for pilot season. So Shane and Lauren and Karma get viciously competitive to get the spot, and she takes her job very seriously. So it's really fun. It's like a real over-the-top comedic character, and she just loved it. And then Fifth Harmony in episode 6, there's a fun storyline where Shane takes Amy and Lauren to an underground dance party, where Fifth Harmony is performing. Originally, they were going to be called Boy Band, but we couldn't clear the name. But they're a girl band who plays vintage boy band covers, and they will be singing the New Kids' "The Right Stuff."
It's
So
been
it's going to be
stuck
really
in our
fun.
heads.
We shot that today,
day.
so all of us
day.
are like,
Yeah.
"You got the right stuff."
And they did like something like that.
But raise your hand. This is why I feel so old. Raise your hand here if you had heard this song before today. That is not what you told me in the car.
I did.
I told you I'd never heard of it.
Well, you lied.
No, I haven't heard of it.
But I watch a lot of VH1, as you know, so like I know what happens. I know what's going on.
None of Fifth Harmony had heard it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, they
Yeah.
had heard of New Kids, but they were like, no, this is new for us. I was like,
Well, I want to talk a little bit about the impact the show has had. Do you guys have a lot of people coming up to you and now sharing their stories and how much it's meant to them?
Yeah, we've had fan letters and fan art and just events like this. People have come up and they said that they wish that they had something like this growing up, because some of them realized that they were gay or they were lesbian because they fell in love with their best friend in high school. And hearing that just puts things in perspective, because when you're shooting something, you kind of just forget, you know, what's reality and what's comedy and what's a show. And when we meet people like that, you realize that you're doing something that's out there that people can relate to for such an underrepresented group. So it's been really incredible. And I feel like for my character, for Amy, she's becoming this resource and this outlet for a lot of people. And the stuff that fans have told me, and they write letters and they say I've gone through this self-discovery process, and I've been through bullying and self-harm, and these are young kids. These are 13, 14-year-olds. And they say watching the show has helped me get through it and made me feel like I wasn't alone. And it's just been incredible.
Yeah.
I feel like as much as this show is, it's very funny and it's very entertaining and it's possibly like larger than life, there's a lot of, core beliefs and things and themes that are addressed that are very true and very real, and it seems like people really do seem to connect with them, and it's weird that it's only now just kind of happening,
Yeah, and I'm not saying that this is the funniest, the least funny, the
yeah.
best show, worst show on TV, but I do think it's one of the most important shows on TV.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. For example, I'm not in the LGBT community. However, I've sounded American for a second.
Whoa!
It comes in and out.
He's been faking it the whole time.
But for example, Michael is an amazing role model to that community. And I could only imagine what it's like to feel part of like a minority, so to speak, and watch a TV show on Tuesday nights and think, wow, I can actually come out and be myself. I love The Blacklist, the show The Blacklist on HBO. And it doesn't teach me anything. I don't think, it teaches me I kind of want to be a criminal a little bit. But apart from that, this show really enables people to completely be themselves. And I just think it's a really important show. And like Michael said, for this time period that we live in, it's kind of shocking that it's only now that it's kind of acceptable to kind of hang out with a gay man, which is kind of ridiculous, obviously. But it's amazing. And I think it really is like a kind of groundbreaking show, so to speak.
yeah, and I have to say that, I feel so lucky every day to be working with MTV, because, I think the first gay person I saw on TV was Pedro on The Real World. And MTV has always had a history of sort of including LGBT people in what they put on the air. And I think that inclusion is so important. And, when I look at these 5, and 3 of these characters are somewhere on the LGBTIA spectrum, that's amazing to me. That I wouldn't be able to do that anywhere else than MTV, and they're brave enough to put the show on and 100% support it. They've never asked me to water it down change it. And so, I mean, I think I've had this moment with all of you, but especially Michael. We sometimes sit on set and we're like, can you believe we get to do this? Like, we get to tell these jokes, we get to tell these stories, and it's just, I hope the show never ends. I'm having so much fun.
Well, and it's like we film it, and even getting the first script in the first season, we knew that this was something, I think we all read it and knew that this was something so special that, you know, regardless of how far it went, however many seasons we were going to get, that this show was going to help people and that people were going to be able to watch it and relate to it regardless of if they were gay or straight. Every character, there's a character, I feel, for everybody, and something that everybody goes through, one of our characters goes through. And, you know, it's, for me, I love television and film. That's obviously why I do what I do. And I know that there are certain things that I watch that have given me a certain feeling and made me feel a certain way. And I've been fans of people. And so for me, it's the most rewarding thing when I walk around and I'm like in my day-to-day life and someone comes up to me and says, "Oh my God, are you Katie? I love faking it so much." The fact that we make something that people are so passionate about and they wait their Tuesday nights to like watch us on TV and watch our stories is such a blessing. And like, you know, it's been all of our dreams to do this our whole lives, but like that is probably a dream fulfilled that I probably could have never thought up because it had never happened to me. So until people started coming up saying that they loved the work that we do, that was just an amazing feeling.
And the mayor of West Hollywood is actually going to be giving the show the key to the city.
Yeah.
The day before the premiere. So congratulations to you guys.
Just when you thought that only happened in TV shows.
Yeah.
Actually
It's
happened.
real. You want the real keys.
Well,
don't
that's
you?
the thing. I thought, like, when Carter told me, I was like, okay, fantastic. We get a key. Does it mean we get 30 minutes free drinks? Like, what's actually the deal?
Yeah, what's this key for?
But what
He felt like
actually
it
is
opens like every
drinks at the end.
door to West
Yeah, because
Hollywood.
Carter said to me, he was like, oh, you can literally go to any restaurant in West Hollywood. You go have fun, 30 minutes or an hour, just go have fun. I was like, amazing.
Yeah.
Apparently not.
And you know, like, I'm not bitter that I didn't win American Idol, but when you get into the top 3, like, normally your hometown gives you the key to the city. And I got eliminated. So this is like my new experience.
You finally get a key. There we go. Now, Liam knows that Amy and Karma are faking it, but are you going to address when the school might find out and what a crushing blow that would be to people who like adore them pretty much?
Yeah, the school's going to find out pretty early, and I think people will be surprised how we deal with that. Because we had the episode in the first season where the school found out and it was like torturous and everybody was so upset, we wanted to play it a little differently, so we're playing the news getting out in a very different way. I think people will be pleasantly surprised.
What would you say the theme of the second season is?
Guilt.
Yeah. A lot of guilt.
Lot of guilt.
Lots and lots of guilt.
Why? I like, until we honestly just started talking about it, I was like, literally everyone's guilty in our show. My character's guilty for what she did last season. Y'all are guilty, obviously. You're guilty, you're guilty.
No, Lauren's not that guilty.
You're not guilty.
Well, you are guilty of kidnapping your
Yes.
boyfriend.
See? Yeah, you're the only one. That's not.
Finally.
She's the good one now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot of times in the script, blah, blah, blah. Someone says something off Amy's guilty face, off
Oh
Liam's
man, the
guilty
faces.
face, off
The
Michael's
faces. This
guilty
girl.
face.
Yeah.
Did the reaction to season 1, the strong reaction, I'm sure a lot of people in here had a strong reaction to it, did it influence at all what direction you took for season 2?
Only in that we want to keep doing it. I think that we saw that and I say that in the regards of like, I want this show to not be a passive experience. I want it to like, you're laughing, you're crying, you're saying, why are they doing this? I've got to come back next week to figure out why they did that. I just want to push our viewers because I think it's exciting storytelling. And so, you'll notice our show has a lot of cliffhanger act breaks and lots of big twists at the end of the episodes because, we're in a different environment right now and we have to earn people watching the show. And I think, you only do that by really, exploding the show every once in a while and putting it all back together. So, that's kind of our mantra. I heard Vince Gilligan talk about this with Breaking Bad and how every time he thought like, oh, I really want to do that, he wouldn't go, okay, well, we'll do 10 episode arc to that point. He would just do it and then figure out what happens next. And we're trying to do that in the writer's room because I really want these guys to always be challenged. I want the viewers to always feel like they're not sure what's going to happen next. So, hopefully we'll be able to keep it up.
Hester High is such an interesting high school. Did any of you have this experience? I mean, it's so tolerant there. Did anyone have a great high school experience like that?
No. We're kind of looking at Hester as something to look up to, and we recognize that the reality is that it's not a common environment, and people unfortunately aren't that tolerant. I came from a really academic high school. It was very boring, and there weren't really any cliques or anything. I would have loved to go to a place like this, but mine was not exciting by any means at all. I hated it. I wanted to get out.
Mine I describe as the Mean Girls cafeteria, because it really was like all the football guys sat together, and then the kids on the swim team sat together, and then the kids in the band. And we talk about all the time, though, how somewhere at some point someone in society said, okay, the guy who plays football and the cheerleader are popular. Because I feel like somewhere, if someone was like, the guy who plays the tuba is popular, then that would be what we hold as that framework in our minds. Because
the
somewhere...
football player beat up the tuba player. I'm not sure someone said it.
No, but that's what I'm saying is like we have, media and TV shows and movies that have portrayed this. I feel like have ingrained in our brains that that's the way that it needs to be, and that the kids who are popular need to bully the kids that are unique. And that's why I'm so proud that we have a show where that's not the case. And that, the more unique you are, the more accepted you are. Because hopefully people can watch that and be like, oh yeah, maybe we shouldn't pick on this kid because we don't know what he's going through in his own life. Maybe.
The more you know.
Okay, Carter.
We're actually going to take some audience questions now. Does anyone have a question for the cast? Yes, right over there. Just wait for the mic to be passed on over.
There you are.
Where's Oliver?
That
Good
didn't go
question.
too well.
Oliver will audition for the drama club with these guys, so you'll see more of Oliver.
Is that done between him and Amy? Was that just a momentary?
On Amy's side, Oliver's
He's crushed.
he's still processing it.
Right over here.
Hi, I'm Yusuf, and I just want to say I'm so thankful to be here tonight. And to
thank you.
PaleyFest and everyone, and for you guys for being here and putting this on. It makes TV watching so tangible. We came from Oklahoma to be here tonight.
No way.
Thank you.
It's just, thank you. The show is super important, and the message is so positive for audiences, particularly where we're from, where it's not as accessible, things like that. So thank you. And I guess my question is, have you guys ever been in a funny situation where you were caught faking it?
I had a fake ID that got taken away, and I was horrified. That was scary. But I faked my hair color.
This is such a hard question,
It
and
is.
we're asked this every time, and it's so difficult because we fake such exciting, intriguing things on the show that anything we say in real life is just like,
Can't
I'm
compete.
like, I don't know what
Well,
to
like so much
say.
so that in fact it's our job to fake it. So like
Yeah.
we do a lot of
We
faking.
act
Yeah.
for a living.
We just pretend for a living. Yeah. I don't know. Anything funny?
No, I mean, no, not really. Fake an American accent, but
But see, that's,
Or a British one, we don't know.
yeah, we don't know.
yeah, sorry, Greg, that's just not as exciting as faking being a lesbian.
I know, I agree.
You know.
Lauren, you're quiet down there. Have you?
I fake too much. No, I haven't faked anything exciting. I fake my height a lot, and I am never believed. I like to say I'm 5'2",
But really,
Wait, how tall are you really, Billy?
5'2".
A pro.
No comment. No, I was driving the other day. This is not a good thing to fake. It's so not funny. This is a lesson. I was driving the other day and I was looking at my cell phone and got pulled over.
the maps, right? You're looking at maps?
That's what I said.
Right.
And you should not do that. I got a ticket. You should not do that. But I tried to fake that I was looking at maps and I was not looking at maps, and he did not care.
Sorry, that wasn't very exciting.
No. Boring.
Right up here.
You guys have talked about how brave the show is in so many ways. Obviously, the characters are a lot of kinds of characters we haven't seen on TV before, but in addition to that, the tone of the show is so unique. It's a half hour, and it's super, super funny, and it's also super dramatic, and it's always emotionally authentic. Was there ever a moment along the process where executives or critics or even members of, people you work with to get the show made didn't totally get what it was and didn't get what it was about? And Carter, was there a moment where you had to explain your vision and fight for your show? And how did you get everyone to see what you saw in this super, super unique show?
Wow, I can honestly say no. That's I pitched. I like to pitch. I should show you guys sometimes, but I like to pitch on an iPad, and I like to tell a visual story. So I kind of pitched out the world of Hester High and all the characters, and they were excited. They said great, and the notes process was pretty smooth, and the whole thing. I sometimes tell people that I don't know if this show is really me doing it. I kind of feel like it's just coming through. I'm just the conduit, because it hasn't required. I've had a lot of shows where it's hard to get everyone on the same page and to understand what the vision is, and this one has just been everybody has just gotten it. From the actors to the crew to we have a great composer, we have amazing writers who are here today. Everybody just gets this show, and it's we're all on the same page. I don't know, it's been very cool. It's we're all hearing the same song.
I know at first when, they first did promos and stuff about the show, initially the show, they didn't want to give away in the first episode that, Amy has that moment of, oh my God, I might have feelings for Karma. So it was publicized as two girls fake being a lesbian to be popular, which, like Carter said, when he even first heard it, was offensive. So when that was solely what came out about the show, there were people that were like, I'm not watching that show, that's offensive. And to us, we knew the story, and we were like, just give it a chance. So now we're super excited because everyone did give it a chance, and now we're moving on to season 2.
Right over here.
Do you mind if I stand up? I mean,
Go ahead.
You go, girl.
So,
Yeah.
my name's Sierra.
Hi.
My question is, what was your guys' opinions about each other, and who would you say is the jokester?
These two. This guy scared the hell out of me in my trailer one night. I will never forget this. I came to my trailer after the day was over and I was about to change, and I'm just I'm in my trailer by myself, and Michael decided to climb into what is a very small cabinet in a trailer. Now trailers are not big. They are not big.
The ones over the couches?
There are little drawers
next to
and
the
cabinets up there. It's a pretty small space. And somehow he managed to get himself in there, and he pops out of this thing, scaring the what
I have it
out
on
of me.
video somewhere.
But then, oh, you do.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, that wasn't funny, and I got mad at him. And then I left, and I come back, and I think, okay, he's not gonna do this again. There's no way. And I'm looking at the door to my bathroom, and I'm just saying, I'm kind of trying to listen, and I'm like, he wouldn't do it. But then I kind of inch closer, and I'm, my hand's at the knob, and as I pull, he just pops out again and scares me like twice as bad as the first time. So yeah, we're planning.
We're planning
revenge.
because then there was another time that I showed up to set at were you guys already there? I think you guys were already there. I showed up to set, it was 8 o'clock. They had some 5 a.m. call. And I was like, huh, that's weird. My room in my trailer is not where it normally is. Huh. And so like I was like, whatever, they must have changed it. And I walked in and like some of like I had left stuff in my trailer and like not all of it was there. I was like, that's weird. Oh, maybe it's in the other. I'll just ask people later. And then I go in my bathroom and there was like a traffic cone in my toilet. And I was like, now this is really strange. And then again, I was like, maybe the toilet's broken and I'm not supposed to use it. And then so I'm like, I'm sitting and I forget where I was, but I'm talking to Greg and I was like, and then I came in and like all my stuff was like missing and there was a traffic cone in my toilet and he was like trying to be like, really? And then I just saw a smirk cross his face and I went, you did it!
Yeah, we had taken their rooms and took everything out of there and switched them, and they didn't really seem to complain.
Well, because I thought that
I didn't even.
the bosses did it.
The boss.
But we are still waiting for revenge.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous.
It's coming, so if y'all have ideas, send them our way.
But we all clicked from the very beginning. We all it just like Carter said, we're just all very grateful. Everything just kind of fit together.
Did you have initial impressions about anyone?
I thought you were very captivating.
Oh.
Michael showed up. We had all met each other before. We had like I think a cast
We had,
dinner.
like, a dinner.
Yeah,
But the first
casting.
day on set, Michael shows up and I will never forget this. Your hair was like beautiful and you were wearing this like long sleeve and he looked just like someone straight out of an Armani catalog. And I was like, who is this guy? He just had this presence.
Oh, shucks.
Greg is very well-mannered and respectful and so sweet.
That's what she thinks. My mother would definitely disagree.
Katie was just like, the first time
Great first impression.
And this one is absolutely incredible. I'm in awe of her. She's the sweetest, littlest little person, and then she's all 5'2" of her. And then the camera starts rolling, and she just becomes this force. and
Yeah.
it's
Honestly,
so exciting to watch.
I was really excited because one of the things when Carter had the meeting with us, with the writers, I said, you know, I would really like to have more scenes with Lauren and Shane. And so it's funny because I remember especially even the first table read we ever had, I met Bailey and she was the sweetest person and then she just turns into this like
Psycho.
little monster. And then so I had a scene with her.
Say little, don't say little.
This monster. Little monster makes monster seem like less offensive. But, so we were doing this scene where her and I just literally have to have like a standoff. And thank God we were sitting at a table because I wanted to just laugh so hard. There's something about her.
It's not threatening.
No, but like her being so like mean and intimidating, I laugh when I'm uncomfortable. It's just my immediate reaction. And so she was like staring at me and I was you didn't know this, but to stop laughing, I was pinching myself under the table. I wanted to make sure we didn't have to like do the scene over a million times.
Bailey, what did you think of them, and have you fallen victim to the Terror Twins over here?
No, nobody messes with me because I'm scary.
Yeah.
So nobody's pranked me.
It's actually funny. The one person I wouldn't prank is Bailey, and I'm not joking. Like, she's
That's
little, she's feisty, and I honestly wouldn't get. I would not get on the wrong side of her. She's sweet, and then
Retribution would be swift.
Yes.
I really, really, really liked them all immediately, and I really quickly realized how special everybody was, from Carter to the writers to like the cast, the crew. Everybody is really, really great. So kind, so respectful, so considerate, so professional, and that's not always the case.
I think,
so.
you know, Greg and Bailey and I have worked on shows where we've had experiences where the set vibe is not great, and you guys were pretty new to the
first.
world. Michael too, actually.
So.
And so we talk a lot about how like we create our world. So if we enjoy each other's company, we will enjoy work. And if you enjoy work, you tend to be a happier person. And we have a great crew that we've put together that is just really happy. It's a really wonderful place to be. I have to say, I go to work every day. I'm never like, oh, I don't want to go, you know. It's always like, let's go to work.
And they're so fun to play opposite too. Like every one of these people are so freaking talented. So it's really a pleasure.
Ditto.
Ditto. right back at you.
Well, we have time for one more question, right in the center here.
So it's always great to have representation in the media. And I was wondering if you guys have any stories from LGBT plus fans who were positively influenced by the show.
I'll say one of my favorite memories that I have from any interaction was we did a screening at the LGBT Center, and we did a panel much like this, and this girl raised her hand. She was in the front row, and she just said, you know, I don't have a question, but I just want to say thank you for making this show, because I realized that I was a lesbian when I fell in love with my best friend in high school. So that was just amazing to hear, because it just proves that we are making these stories that are in fact people's real life stories. And you know, we do feel a sense of responsibility to do that and to do it well, because we want people to be able to relate to our characters and know that what we're doing is truthful.
I've had a lot of experiences with LGBT plus teens and just people in general, and I feel like for the most part people have really connected with the show and have connected with my character, and they feel like they haven't seen these people before, at least on television, and so that's really refreshing. But also I feel like you know, I don't know that I've seen a character like my character on TV, so it's cool to have people come up to me and be like, I really relate to your character, or, you know, like he's not just the sidekick, he's, you know, he's like a main part of the storyline, and so that's nice to be a part of. I don't like feel like a leader necessarily, even though I might be. Like, it's cool to be a part of something that people really get and feel like they have a connection with, and it's very clear.
Well, on that note, thank you.
Can we just do one more thing before we go?
Oh, yeah.
I just noticed in the audience, we have our director here, Claire, and I just want, and who?
Yeah.
And we have like all of our writers.
So if we can give them a round of applause.
Faking it.
If you're part of the Faking It team, will you just stand up? Let everybody see you.
Yes.
We don't,
stand.
these are the guys who don't get enough.
Faking It returns Tuesday, September 23rd at 10:30 on MTV. Good night to the live stream. For those of you sticking around, I invite you to watch screenings of Awkward and Happy Land. Thank you, guys. Yes.